chaos everywhere. The dwarves fight a desperate battle against the savage greenskins. The Empire is under siege by the marauding armies of chaos. And across the great ocean, the Dark Elves assault Ulthuan, the island home of the High Elves. Faced with certain doom, elves, men, and dwarves have united their forces to form an alliance of order. Should they fail, the forces of destruction will conquer all.
I'm here with Spyke Alexander, the associate producer for Warhammer Online and the producer for the last year for the beta. And we're going to hear a little about what their plans are for launch and what makes Warhammer Online really unique and a special kind of game. And we're also going to talk about their supporting mods and the user community. Spyke, thank you for being here with us.
Skylar, thank you for having me.
So give us a quick background on what makes Warhammer unique and what makes it something that gamers really got to jump towards instead of what's currently out there.
Well, with Warhammer Online, one of the things that we're really doing is, the concept of war is everywhere isn't just a tagline. We're using the concept of realm versus realm, which is something we had in Dark Age of Camelot, which we're tagging as team-based consensual PvP with a purpose. The consensual and the with a purpose being the two key elements there. We're really focusing on that within the game itself, so that you're actively part of this war that's going on within the actual gameplay itself. You actually can modify and interact with the world, with the other players, everyone on your realm, so you can actually see keep sieges, zone control, home city battles, things of that nature.
That's very exciting. So if you could also, for the launch here, I know that there's some talk right now, you guys are polishing what you currently have and putting some other things on the side and on the back burner for right now. So you talk about what you're polishing right now versus what you're going to be looking forward to distributing in the game.
Oh, sure, no problem. Right now what we're doing, we're getting ready for our open beta. We're going to open beta around September 7th. We're actually pushing that build to our elder testers. Some of these guys have been in for over a year helping us test the game. That's going to be the first time we're really going to see mass amounts of people within the game in a near launch experience. At this point, we're basically looking at polishing all of the content that we have in the game, the actual 20 careers that we have that we're launching with, as well as those two home cities that we're talking about, those two capital cities that we have, Altdorf and the Inevitable City. We're making sure that everything we have in the game right now is rock solid. Therefore, once we launch around the September 18th, the user experience from the first second they get in till hour 400, whatever it ends up being, is as solid and smooth as possible.
That's awesome. So quick background if you could, and some of the influences you guys have for this game. I know Dark Age of Camelot is a huge title, and for PvP especially, and those that are interested in PvP really appreciate that dedication to it. So you can give us some kind of that influence, and maybe other games also influence it, maybe the current games that are out there also.
Sure. Obviously, this isn't Mythic's first foray into doing MMOs. Again, we launched Dark Age of Camelot, where we really invented and revolutionized the concept of realm versus realm. Previous to that, you had pretty much just PvP, player versus player, which was as the players called it, pretty much the gank fest. You go outside of the home area and stuff like that, anybody could come along and just kill you. Turned off a lot of people. Some people really liked that. They liked the intensity of the combat, of never being safe anywhere like that. With Realm versus Realm in Dark Age of Camelot, we wanted to try to capture that intensity. We wanted to try to capture it so that when you're out in certain environments, you're not safe. But at the same time, we also wanted to give the aspect of there being a reason for doing things, that your team is actively working towards a goal. And if you want to, you can actually go to a safe area. You can go to an area where you don't necessarily need to worry about random players coming along and killing your character if you don't want to have to deal with that. That's something that we've really worked with in Dark Age of Camelot since launch, that we've really pushed and polished. And it's something with one of the reasons that Games Workshop, the people that own the Warhammer IP itself, really approached us with Warhammer, because the Warhammer fantasy world, the lore, for the last 25 years, has all been about conflict. It's about the unending destruction and war between the various races that exist on this planet. And so they really felt that they didn't want to do a traditional MMO. They didn't want to do a traditional PvE-only MMO. They really wanted to do something with the RVR, the PvP aspects, but something that players could really enjoy, get the intensity, but then have a choice of backing out of if necessary. The Warhammer IP itself has been around for over 25 years. When Games Workshop approached us, they said, Do you have enough information? Like, yes, we have 25 years of lore, we have 25 years of history, the visual style. Everything you see in the game has been approved by Games Workshop, has been determined by 25 years of real-world history. So when you're seeing a Black Orc, when you're seeing a Witch Elf, you're seeing the way the environments look within the game itself. That those are visual styles that have been set by them, by their artists, by their writers, by their designers, by the people that have done the Warhammer Fantasy Miniatures combat game. You know, they do armies on the battlefield and everything like that. That we were able to really tap into. Our artists loved it. When we first signed the contract, Games Workshop's like, well, here's a bunch of art books and things that we need for you guys. We're like, oh no, we already have most of those. Personally, they brought those in. So we're really able to tap into that concept visually on the lore, and then we added our expertise on the MMO side, the PvE side, the customer side, the community side of things. Another reason they liked it is that we have proven with Dark Age of Camelot that we like working with the community, that we listen to the community. Even in our beta for Warhammer, we have people that have been in, like I said, for almost over a year in some cases. They'll come back and say the fact that they will be coming to us and say, we don't really think this is something that we like, this is something that might not be working correctly. A couple builds later, they see that we've changed that. They're blown away by the fact that, you know, we're bringing all this expertise and we're making things based on the community, the lore of Games Workshop itself, and they can't be more happy about what's going to happen at launch. We cannot be more happy what's going to happen at launch.
That's very, very cool. So, real quick though, the focus, right? The absolute focus that you guys are going for. There's a lot of competition in the market right now, and you guys have that unique focus. PvP, is that?
RVR,
so,
yes.
So if you talk about the RVR just real quick.
Sure. Basically, the entire concept between the RVR is you have your PvE elements as well. You go through do questing and the whole 9 yards, but between open field RVR, which are there areas within the actual world itself where you can go and you can capture battlefield objectives or keeps, where you can actually do sieges, where you can actually have catapults and battering rams, and tens upon potentially hundreds of people on either side trying to knock down the doors of the outer wall and trying to take the keep itself. Have your guild claim the keep for the glory of your side, for your realm. Then there's also the scenario, something that we've added so people can, no matter where they are in the game world, whatever they're doing, they can queue up anywhere they want to do. Scenarios are these kind of instanced FPS-style battle maps, whether it's 12 on 12, 18 on 18, 24 on 24. It's something that you can do. You can go along with your friends, do anything you want, join a scenario comes up, you jump in. It could be a capture the flag, it could be a king of the hill. Various events, we have multiple scenarios through the entire game, regardless of what tier, what area you're in, what zone you're in, a racial area. You can have aspects of the different scenario concepts that you have, as well as then that all leads into the end game, the campaign at the very end. Everyone in any MMO, no matter what it is, has always wanted to take the fight to the home city of the other side. Whether it was in Dark Age of Camelot, where people wanted to take the fight to Tir na Nog, or to Camelot itself. In our game, you can do that. The two sides, the two realms are working at it towards the campaign where they can actually move the zone control across the map so that they are actually can get to the gates of the cities, the home cities, either Altdorf or Inevitable City. They take enough, they lock down enough of the control from the other realm, they can actually siege the city itself. At this point, they're actually fighting in the streets of that city. Order is defending if it's Altdorf. Destruction is attacking. They're actually fighting back and forth within the actual physical city itself. If the side is attacking ends up winning, they lock that city out from the other side. They lose access to their home city for a certain amount of time before everything's reset. Once that's locked down, that side is able to have access to content that is only available once they've captured that city. They basically are sacking the city at that point. They're trying to work to unlock, to attack the king. They're working their way down through the city itself, through the sub-bosses, so it's the equivalent of going after the head of that realm. They can actually do the king encounter to try to capture them, gain access to the rewards, the loot, the whole 9 yards.
So, quick background to what's out there right now. It's kind of like the Alliance coming and attacking Orgrimmar, or the Horde going and attacking under Ironforge.
Exactly. That's pretty much a good equivalent analogy.